Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. Good to have you with us on this Friday. That's right. It's a Friday. I know everyone's excited about that. And we got a 3-day weekend. One person I know is excited about it. Randy Ramsey, our co-host every Friday morning. Randy, are you going to be celebrating a 3-day weekend? President's Day, it just feels like one of those holidays that just sneak up on us.
Well, I think it's because it's the only holiday after the big holiday letdown. You have the whole season, and then it's like
Right.
January and sad, and then President's Day is upon us. And, I'm a terrible parent, so I don't actually do any President's Day education for my children. It's not like I make them like, recite the Gettysburg Address or anything. We do put out a flag, though.
You put out a flag. That's good. You
Put
should.
out a
You all
flag.
should. You should teach them that if you ever want to buy a mattress, now's the time to do it. All those
Yeah.
President's Day sales that are out there. I actually did that several years ago when I bought a mattress on President's Day as I was off of work because that's just what you do. You need a mattress on those days. So there's our free plug for all the mattress companies around the
And,
country.
new sheets. It's a
New
good time of
sheets.
year for new sheets. And when did
Yeah.
our like adoration of our founding fathers turn into we should buy a mattress and new sheets because we're not sleeping well?
Yeah, I don't know, but hey, it's at one time a year. It's like the Christmas time for, the mattress industry. We digress. It is a
Yeah.
Friday, though. Film Friday. You've got a guest coming up, and we want to thank everyone who's watching us right now, live on Facebook and YouTube. You can catch us just about every morning. HCC is in session. We're live Mondays through Fridays at 10 a.m. But if you can't join us live, Randy, they can catch us anytime in social media and on HCC TV.
That's right. They can catch us on the Houston Community College District Facebook page, on YouTube. We're also on Twitter, which I'm still calling Twitter, LinkedIn, and HCC TV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
All right, so we have got a guest you're going to be talking to very shortly. He's our Film Friday guest and also honoring Black History Month. We've got Aaron Henry, Student Life Coordinator for HCC's Northwest College, as well as President of the newly established HCC Staff Senate. Let's see, you're taking some students, Aaron. Good morning to you, by the way. You were taking some students on a field trip, right?
Yes, we're going to view the color purple.
Cool. All
Woo-hoo.
right. So that's going to be coming up. Randy's going to be talking with you about that in a few minutes. So she'll be with you in about 10 minutes.
Thank you.
But first, one of our favorite HCC guests, in fact, earlier this morning when she joined us live before the show, she said, "Aren't you guys getting tired of seeing me?" And I'm like, "No, we're never tired of seeing Dr. Helen Graham. She's the Dean of HCC's Liberal Arts, Humanities, and Education, but also a recipient of the Sugarland 95 Civil Rights Community Service Award." Good to see you, Helen.
It's good to see you as well. And I want to go with Aaron and his students to see the color purple. I've not seen that yet.
I think Erin's waving. Erin, can you fit her in the group with you guys?
No, I was just saying, come on.
Come on.
I just require popcorn, okay? And I'm good.
That's one thing when I go to a movie, and you might be the same way, Helen. When I go to a movie, I always say, I'm not going to get the popcorn. But the minute you walk into like the lobby of the theater, the smell of the popcorn's everywhere. And I'm like, just give me the biggest box for a refill. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Exactly.
But so we'll get you hooked up with Aaron after the show so you guys can
Okay.
go see the color purple. But we want to talk about SOJES, the Society of Justice and Equality for the People of Sugarland. Tell us a little bit about that and the award.
So SOJES is a community organization that's dedicated to historic preservation and educating the community about the contributions that African Americans have made in building up the city of Sugarland. So the history of our contributions are not known, and so SOJES works diligently and tirelessly to bring that education to the community. And so they recognized the nonprofit that I work with. They recognized us and presented us with a Sugarland 95 Civil Rights Community Award earlier this week. Very humbling, very humbling. We're grateful that they recognized our work, although we don't do it for recognition, but SOJES did recognize us this week for our work.
And bring us, it's been 6 years since the discovery of the Sugarland 95. Bring us up to speed on the progress that's been made in identifying these individuals.
Okay, so we have identified, I think the last time I was on the show, we had identified 72 individuals who labored and died at that site. So we have identified an additional 8 individuals who labored and died at that site. Additionally, we have identified, I've interviewed and verified relatives to some of the 95. And we also have a genetic match to 2 individuals. And so we are in communication with these relatives to keep them up to date on the progress on what's going on with the Sugarland 95.
And I know you've done video interviews with several of the relatives, correct?
I have. I've not made those public yet because I don't have their permission to do so. But yes, because not all of them are in the immediate area. So one of them I did travel to him to do a video interview, and others I've done by Zoom. So we do have that documentation available.
And tell us about the Civil Rights Award you received this week.
Wow, that was amazing. And I said again, it's very humbling because it was a panel of state representatives who were honored as well for their contributions. And my 2 colleagues and I were honored for our contributions. And it's been 6 years, like you said. There were several who started out with the Sugarland 95 project, but they have since gone away because this is a lengthy endeavor. But the 3 of us, Dr. Katrina Whitley, who's a bioarchaeologist, Abigail Fisher is the archaeologist, and I am the genealogist on the project. So we've been with this project for 6 years, working to identify these individuals, find relatives, and get the DNA work done. And so just honored us for our efforts in those endeavors.
What are the ages of the individuals that you've been able to determine, or were some of them young, elderly? Was it across the board from what you could tell?
Yes, the youngest is estimated to be 14 years old, and the oldest one that we've identified thus far is 62 years old. So we are able to examine the remains, and we can tell the stress markers that are on their bodies, tell what their diet is, tell if they had been abused and how they were abused. So a lot of work has gone into that, and Dr. Whitley and Abigail are really instrumental in bringing that information to the forefront.
You mentioned you were able to determine their diet. What was that like? I mean, were they malnutritioned, malnourished?
Very much so. Very much so. And with additional isotope analysis, we will be able to find out more about their diet. Additionally, with isotope analysis, we will be able to pinpoint like where they grew up. And so we will use dental calculus in order to do that. But there's a lot more that we can gain once we do the isotope analysis and further DNA analyses.
Now, what is your role with the nonprofit Principal Research Group?
So I am the Director of Genealogical and Historical Research and Family Outreach, and I'm also the Secretary. So I handle all the genealogical and historical work. We have other genealogists that are working with us. We have several individuals, and we say Sugarland 95, but let me clarify. We say 95 because there were 95 coffins. One of the coffins was actually empty, but there were several fragments of remains, like not fully intact. So the total actually comes to about 101 individuals once we put all of that together.
I know you've been doing all this research for the past 6 years. Where can people go to keep up with this project and receive updates?
They can go to principalresearchgroup.org to keep up with the progress.
Okay, and we're going to have that information in our social media post. Dr. Helen Graham is the Dean of HCC's Liberal Arts, Humanities, and Education, and the Sugarland 95 or Civil Rights Community Service Award recipient. Always good to see you, Helen. Thank you for being here.
You too.
All right, take care.
See you at the movies.
Happy Friday. All right. And speaking of movies, we're going to go with your guest now, Randy, who's going to be doing a field trip, and I think Helen's going to be joining him.
I know. And thanks for being here, Helen. I appreciate it. It's always good to hear the updates. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Moving on, Erin Henry, Coordinator of Student Life for HCC and the new Staff Senate President. But first and foremost, most importantly, it's Oscar time. I am one of the filmmaking faculty, so I'm super excited to see that Danielle Brooks is nominated for Best Supporting Actress. And it turns out you've met her.
I have actually.
Well, tell us about that.
Yeah, well, I was actually in New York. I believe it was last year in early January, looking at went to view the piano lesson on Broadway, in which she was starring in. And we got an opportunity. Actually, one of the professors and myself, Professor Sybil Davis, we were there, and we got an opportunity to go over to eat, in New York after you leave a Broadway show. And lo and behold, we had Danielle Brooks, who was there, who joined us upstairs, and we got an opportunity for a very intimate dinner with her and some of the other stars. And so it was a wonderful opportunity. And actually, she in fact, she was getting married at the time, I believe, or was in the process of planning her wedding. And her connection to Houston that she shared at that time was her wedding coordinator was a Houstonian who lived in Houston, and she was traveling back and forth in regards to her wedding. So it was very cool.
Well, it's a very good show. I saw it. It's a favorite of mine.
Oh, yes.
So you are taking students to AMC Katy to see the updated version of The Color Purple, which is one of my favorite all-time films. So I was a little dubious. I have to admit that I was like, oh, I don't know. But let's talk about the difference between the 1985 version and the 2023, we should absolutely say, musical version.
Yeah, right.
What do you think about that? What do you want to share?
Well, I think, it's quite different, not even just with the 1985 version, but even a different version from even the book, right? And there are some things that were, omitted or not particularly a part of the movie. One of the things that I believe that was clear to me as it relates from the novel was even the omission of Celie and her queer arc or whatever. And so that was obvious that it was left out. Again, you think about the times in the early 80s, and so perhaps that had something to do with it. I also think that the show, in comparison to the Broadway musical, I believe I think it was 2005 or whenever it came out, but I think the music, the lyrics are different, or it primarily presents a lyrical version of the Color Purple that it continues on even in 2023.
And also I think the timing and the songs and the scenes in each, I think that's different as well.
Right. I think the elements are a little bit more apparent to me in this version, whereas the first movie, kind of brushes over it. There are a lot of different traumas, particularly that Celie faces in the storyline. And in 1985, those traumas are presented, but they're not presented in a way that it's done in 2023. But I believe that even every version from 85 to Broadway musical, even to now, it all connects to the full storyline of the central story of the book. However, like you mentioned, there are very many scenes that individuals, observed, particularly in this movie, and they were like, "Wait a minute, what happened?" And I believe it was made even a more, it was put forth more boldly this time, in my opinion.
Well, and I think that the theme of The Color Purple was made more apparent and clear. Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you want to talk about the universal theme of the film that holds true from the book all the way through, and I think is still valid today?
Yeah, no, I think there are multiple things that are apparent in The Color Purple: racism, sexism, respect, women empowerment, empowerment, period, resilience through trauma, which is one of the reasons. And I'll say this: I've probably seen the new version probably every bit of 8 or 9 times now. So, which is one of the reasons that I thought was so important for students, to be able to see this if they had not, students of all backgrounds, because I believe that particularly Celie is one of the high characters in this film. She goes through a transformation, I believe, and and you see it from the beginning to the end. And I believe that this transformation helps the things that she's faced, the trauma that she's encountering. It helps propel her to be the best Celie that she can be. And we see at the end. I won't share the full thing, for any students that may
please
look at it.
don't, because our producer hasn't seen the film yet. So
Yeah,
no
so I won't share
spoilers.
it. But we see that those things that she encountered, even from her family, right? The things that the generational misfortunes that she had to face, even within her own bloodline, within her own, we'll just say within her own family. And how all of those things, I believe, helped to create her to where she was to go. And I think it helps our students that regardless of whatever situation you've been faced with, whatever road you've traveled, that this opportunity to get an education can create your future. And I believe that those traumas, those things that Celie faced, helped to create her future.
Yeah, and it's incredibly inspiring. I did want to ask you about Mr., because I think the portrayal in the 2023 version is significantly different than in the 1985 version. And I personally think there's a lot of reasons for that, but I'd love to hear your take on it.
Well, one of the things that, has always puzzled me has been the portrayal of the role of the Black man in many in our society. And, reality is, as history shows, for various reasons, it is there. But one of the things that really struck out to me was the ending. Of course, it's different as it relates to Mr. And Mr., he comes around. I believe that he's a reality of the times that he's faced with in the early 1900s. And men at that time, and that's one of the themes in regards to women empowerment and sexism. Men at that time, they dominate. They're in charge. And I believe that Celie is viewed as someone who is a woman, and she's someone who is considered to be she's lower than Mr. Mr. is not necessarily in love with Celie initially, in my opinion, right? He doesn't take her on because of love. He takes her on because of a position, right? He takes her on because of a role. And it wasn't, in fact, she wasn't the role she wasn't the actor or the character that he even actually wanted. But I believe that as, Celie goes through, and Mr. He puts her through a whole lot. But I believe that there's something that happens, something happens with Mr. On the other side of when he gets again, I don't want to tell the film, but something takes place with Mr. Something on the inside, I believe, happens with Mr. And he has a change of heart. He's changed, and he helps to move Celie toward her future. And so even in that reality, I believe that even sometimes those very things that have created the chaos or the trauma in our lives are the actual stepping stones to take us to where we are. One of the things that I know, we started off talking about Danielle Brooks, that's central in that film, this film, and it's central in the musical, was the song "Hell No," that she so eloquently, song, right? And I think it outlines The Color Purple when you talked earlier about the thing. It breaks the cycle of sexism. It breaks the cycle of disrespect and racism and abuse. And I believe that that scene, and early on, you'll see in the movie early on, after, and we all know, because if you've looked at The Color Purple from '85 and so forth, the encounter that happens between Sophia and Harpo. But what I saw early on is that she said, "Hell no." It wasn't the third or the fourth opportunity. It was the first situation that took place. And Sophia's response was hell no. And so I believe that that was encouraging. And that's what I want our students, even when they see the film tomorrow, even to see the various themes, but to see things that come to them in their life, that they can have the opportunity to respond with hell no, that I'm going to move forward. This is going to come my way. No, I'm going to be faced with this. No, and I'll be able to persevere. And it was unfortunate what Sophia faced, but at the end, you'll see when she says that favorite line I have is Sophia's home now. And so I believe that for all of our students, they'll be able to encounter that same reality of I'm home now.
Well, I hope that our students reply hell yes, and the Oscar voters do as well. But as we wrap, we have 1 minute real quick. What do you think Danielle Brooks's chances are at the Oscar?
I think they're really good. I think they're really good, and I believe she says she wants it, and she's not afraid to say it. In fact, I believe are her exact words.
Well, I mean, I think it's great because obviously it's a thrill to be nominated, but who the heck doesn't want to win? I mean, everybody wants to win.
Everybody wants to win.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much, Erin Henry, coordinator of student life for HCC Northwest. And I'm super sorry I can't get to the film because I live out here in Katy, so I should just come with you. But kids keep me busy. And our new HCC Staff Senate president. So have fun, enjoy, and have a good weekend.
Okay, you too. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Erin. That was some great insight.
Yeah,
really was.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think that it's one of those films that everybody has a different perspective on, and it's really good. As a woman, you have one. As a man, there's another one. As a Black man, it's a different one. And I think that's what's so good about the story. That's what's so brilliant about the book. That's why it keeps being remade. It's
right. All right. Well, we've got a few announcements before we wrap up this show for a 3-day weekend right around the corner. One of them, HCC's Academic Success Centers are hosting virtual workshops to learn study strategies and helpful academic habits. Coming up Wednesday, February 21st, academic essay structures. You can check that out. We have a post, we have in our post after the show where you can go check out this virtual workshop. And we're celebrating Black History Month across the district this month.
I know, I'm super excited. The Frederick Douglass Lecture Series is going on. The Student Life Office of HCC Northwest, aka Erin, is celebrating Black History Month with a Frederick Douglass Lecture Series. Coming up later this month, Professor Sybil Davis, who I think is going to be on the show soon, will be giving a lecture noon Tuesday, February 27th at the Spring Branch campus. So check our post after the show. Sorry, Todd, I cleared my throat and interrupted your announcement.
That's quite all right. I understand. I get it. Spring faculty exhibitions are happening system-wide. Speaking of the Film Faculty Exhibition, the Media, Visual, and Performing Arts Center of Excellence is excited to announce its Spring 2024 faculty exhibitions. Various galleries across the district are celebrating masterpieces created by HCC's own visual arts faculty. Now through March, April, and May, depending on the artist, exhibitions and receptions vary by campus. They're all free, no registrations necessary, and we'll have more information in our post after the show. And if you're going to enroll, you really need to check out our virtual enrollment information sessions.
That's right. All you need to know, enrolling in college is a big step, and HCC is here to support our students with virtual info sessions for everything you need to know about enrollment. Admissions advisors provide guidance on applications, financial aid, career pathways, international advising, and all kinds of student supports. Check our post after the show for information.
As we mentioned, President's Day is Monday, and it's a holiday for HCC, so there will be no Up to the Minute that morning. We will be on the channel with our best of editions, but we'll return on Tuesday when HCC classes resume, and we hope you have a very safe weekend and enjoy yourself. And keep in mind, this semester is flashing by. We're almost on our way to spring break, a couple of weeks away, right? Second start's already begun, but you can still get classes in before the end of the semester. You can still get those credit hours. We have online anytime, online in a schedule, hybrid, in-person, hybrid labs. They're all available. Go to hccs.edu/apply. So Tuesday, we're back because we're off Monday. We've got Chris Williams of Lucille's returns to talk about his grandmother's recipes passed down to his award-winning restaurant, as well as the opening of the newly refurbished El Dorado Ballroom. I'm interested in that.
Which is fantastic. If you haven't been there yet, it's spectacular.
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't been there, so I'm excited to hear about that. And later next week, Shanice Britton of the cosmetology department here to talk about the services they're offering for free this semester. You know, on certain days, you can go get a free haircut and free cosmetic, or I should say cosmetology services as well. So I wanted to know what's included in the cosmetology, because, you know, I don't know if you know Benji, our co-host for Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
He gets his eyelash done. Yeah. So he's excited about that. Yeah. So
I'm excited as well. I can use all the help I can get. I'm starting to look, you know, a little sad.
We're all starting to look a little sad.
Todd, we all can't look as good as you at 87 years old.
Well, we appreciate you all joining us, and big plans this weekend, Randy. Anything big?
Rugby, and more
rugby.
And Monday, the kids are off school, I'm off school, and my husband is away, so we're going to eat junk food and have a movie fest.
Have a good time doing that. All right, folks, wrapping up today's show. Thank you all for joining us. Have a safe weekend. We'll see you Tuesday.